Hey everybody, Ben for the Bonehead Podcast, and this week we have been blessed by a visit from Ronnie, the Mantic King himself. So Kings of War at the moment, they're going through and prepping for the impending release of 4th edition that's going to come end of November, early December time. Now we are building 2 armies ready for Kings of War. We've got the Trident Realms on the go and we've got the Salamanders on the go, although we're waiting for a full Salamander STL release so we can build an army and we can print an army and we can get it on the pitch ready as the edition drops. Now the Mantic open day is this weekend. Unfortunately I've not been able to go, had it booked in, but just sometimes these things happen when you're a parent and you can't escape. But Mantic were amazing, and Ronnie was kind enough to jump on and spend about an hour talking all things Kings of War and all things Mantic wargaming with me. So buckle up, it's Ronnie time. Okay, Ronnie, it's fantastic. Thank you so much for agreeing to jump on and answer loads of questions that we've got about Kings of War and all the shenanigans that Mantic are up to at the moment. How are you doing today? All right?
Very, very well. We are definitely up to shenanigans. So that's good to.
And just to check, you've been doing a bit of a world tour. Are you in England at the moment?
Yeah, I am. This is it's a site, they call it the prison because that's what my window looks like. It's actually not caged, so they don't let me out. But when I'm here, I don't get to go out. It's like, right, Renton, stay there and answer your emails.
Right, and then it's into the shipping container and off we go.
We were in a shipping container this very morning because Feet First to Hell arrived today, so we were unpacking 2,500 boxes of that.
Ooh, dropping in from the sky. Fantastic. That's very, very, very cool to see. I absolutely love everything that you're doing in the Halo space at the moment. You've done a very, very good job of landing that, I think. So I mean, mega props for that.
As I say to a few people, I've been in the industry now for 30 years, for 1992. So I have broken more games than most people have released. I've ruined more games and made terrible mistakes and destroyed them and left people bitter and grumpy than almost most people have ever released. So, I think eventually I was about infinite monkeys and infinite typewriters. Maybe I'll finally get one right one of these days.
So you're just convinced Facebook that some of the outlandish things they say is accurate. We don't want that.
Exactly that.
Last thing we want. Right, but anyway, on the channel we are jumping in very, very hard into Kings of War 4th. I'll be honest with you, that wasn't the original goal. It was Champions, and then it really escalated.
And then we drew back in.
I thought Champions would be perfect. We can do these, we can cycle through them, very much like Miniworks Matt has been doing. He's been doing a great job showing them off. And then all of a sudden you were like, oh, by the way, we're going to drop a new edition. And I'm like, oh, that's a bit of a lure. And you're going to drop a whole new army as well. So, I mean, the new army, the new edition, so much buzz about it. Has it caught you by surprise? Has anything caught you by surprise about how it's landed?
Yeah. I mean, we're having just reverse a little bit, but 2020, we had that somewhat of a pandemic. Things were going. So 2020 we launched Kings of War in November 2019.
Yeah. 2020
was going to be the tournament year, find it out, balance it out, but it was going to be the year where we started tournamenting it. That didn't happen. So it was, and what was weird was because everyone was at home, you finally actually got that hobby project you meant to do done. I said to someone, when you came out of lockdown in 21, 22, if you haven't painted the army, you're never painting the army. I mean, it's just not going to happen, is it? Even I painted some soldiers and finished my battlefield off. And, we all did that. Yeah. So, but, in 23, 22, 23, boy, oh boy, did any of us want to stay at home and paint, or did we want to get out there and play?
Oh, yeah.
And so the tournament scene went absolutely loopy, great, it was there. But we'd been, doing stuff for people that were locked up and couldn't spend their money on travel, so we're spending it on box games and armies and cool stuff. And I realised that we had not recruited one single new gamer for 3 years. We hadn't run a demo, we hadn't been to a show, and all of our products, guess what? We're absolutely catered for the super hardcore player. So actually end of 23 and 24 was a tough 18 months for us because I realised, and that's roughly my release window. If I say, I want this, I can have it 18 months later.
That makes a lot of sense. That feels like industry standard,
So I thought, okay, and then actually I've been having these conversations with this, I thought, okay, well, listen, we're in great shape. We've got a beautiful gaming system. We can make it feel very, very Halo-y. People that have never played a war game before, or even a miniatures game, or even a kind of board game, will get it.
Yeah.
And anyone that has played will laugh out loud, funny, fine, because it's just compelling enough that it's fast, and it really is a fun game. You know, we're seeing a lot of people going to 40k tournaments and on the Friday night playing in a Halo tournament.
Yeah, it's super accessible. That's just something that you don't really get in this genre, right?
Correct. And for years I've not gone there. You know, when I said Dead Zone, which is what it's based on, was very accessible. And actually, Rob Berman would come into me. I said, "There's 8 figures, Rob. I mean, like, it's nothing to get started." He said, "Yeah, but Ronnie, there's 2 months of terrain building because the terrain was hard plastic. In here, it's 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's taken me 13 years, I'm a bit thick, to actually work out how to address all of those things that goes you can really play out the box. And I'd say that about Dead Zone. It costs 130 quid because there's 8 plastic sprues of terrain and 2 months of hobby building in it. Yeah, by Champions, coming back to, you know, by Champions, by Halo, we're starting to go, right, we really do need to get recruiting. We need to come out and talk to people. We need to make that onboarding journey slick and easy and nice and intuitive. And so Halo gave us what we needed at the end of 2024, particularly in the US, particularly in Oz. We had a fantastic community in both those countries and in the UK and Spain and France of Kings of War players who have also played Armada and Dead Zone. And we have our tournament players that love the games they do and they're playing them, and nobody else, because it stopped being played in stores. It wasn't, you know, it was mid-edition for the game. So people weren't buying new armies. So we went on what I call a massive recruitment drive. Started with that at the end of last year. People were picking that up and then going, what else do you guys do?
Yeah.
And I think the big difference is from when I was last speccing this product to now, my boys have gone from 10 to 18 and from 13 to 21. So I went, you know what, some of the things I'm really gutted about is that there wasn't a game I could play with them, because my hobby was what I did by myself.
Yeah.
And I think there's a whole load of dads and mums, but largely dads, that actually love their hobby. And I have Epic Warpath over here. Don't look at that, son. It's a little bit, I get there. But do you want to paint 4 Spartans? Yes, I do. Do you want to paint 2 troops and a cool character and a cool monster for Champions? Yes, I do. I can do that. And inside the box is the terrain, and you can upgrade the terrain. And they get 2 choices. As a parent, you're just happy you're spending time with your kid or your nephew or your gaming group. Lads, you're already playing these crappy board games like Ticket to Ride. It's not crappy, it's great fun. But I'm going to show you what I do. Here's Halo. Pick 4 of these. Oh, wow. Okay. This is different, isn't it? Yeah. And one of them will quietly go away and go, I quite like that. I think I might be a miniature war gamer. You say, on this way. Step this way. So I think you've got, so we just had this real big, it started with that. It followed with Kings of War Champions and has led into Kings of War 4. And so I think we've got a real lovely momentum and open people giving us a try, and we've started recruiting again, I think, for the first time in 3 or 4 years, and it's lovely. It's really nice, and you know, that's the hardest bit. It was the hardest Mantic product to buy. It's the first one. I don't understand it. I don't know what it is. Tell me about it. Obviously, an IP like that helps. You know, IP like that helps.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that is crazy. That when we go to a show, that is a #1 selling item at every single show.
I am not surprised. We've got we've got non-wargamer friends who have been asking our gamer friends to paint up their Worms boxes for them. And so as soon as they're painted, right, it's perfect. They're like, oh, do you know what? Could you paint this up for me? And it's like, yes, I'd love to paint a whole box of Worms. And then of course you've got the calendar, you know, for Christmas as well, which tops it up, which is just. Yeah, it's a very merry Christmas.
Extra Worms just to add to it, so you don't need them, but boy, do you want them.
Well, yes,
I want the Holy Angry.
Very much on my list, for that exact reason.
Yeah, no, good. So, yeah, it's been fun times, actually. We're busy, but fun, busy in a nice way. Very excited about 4th. It's been like I said, I mean, the whole journey of 3rd edition, 2nd edition even, you know, Second edition came out 2015.
Yeah.
A certain other world blew up about 3 months after that. People were looking for a home. We said, come on over this way. But by that point, we had our Basileans, we had our Abyss, but we didn't have some of the armies people had. And we realized that the difficulty from jumping from one game to another is your armies. We said, right, bring them over. Here's the Uncharted Empires. This will help you navigate that journey. So, I'd say a third to a half of the community just went, we do Kings of War now. It's a rank and flank. And of course, it was written by Alessio, who previously had been writing the last versions of Warhammer and the last versions of 40K. So he's a very experienced rules writer. He got an absolute clean sheet of paper to write the dream game system.
Yeah.
He's not a novice. He's been doing it 15 years at this point. I obviously knew what style of game I want, one I could play, because, again, a bit slow. So I need to be able to play it. And a month later and 3 months later, pick it up and still remember the rules. It can't be too complicated.
Well, it landed brilliantly, and we tend to host tournaments sort of throughout the year around the place. But every February, there's a big wargaming event called Beachhead down at the BIC, the Bournemouth International Centre. And every year, like we've been there, there's been a big Kings of War event, and it's just been like it was just ubiquitous. Like you had all the other game systems and there was a Kings of War thing, and there was 20, 30 people just playing with, obviously the thing that catches you out, the spectacle of it's two things, right? They're war gamers and they're not crying and holding a whole bunch of books. That in itself is like, oh, they look happy. This is weird. And then right? It's totally strange. And then you see the multi-based magic. Yeah, and it was always that thing. It was like, oh, there's the Kings of War guys. Yeah, I love the plastic. The plastic base is a genius. I do love that. I thought that was the sneaky product of the year. I mean, the Zikari Empire.
I was on play with them. They have the little tabs on the bottom.
Yeah.
And they're exactly like that. And it just goes, right, get the figures on.
Yep.
Off we go.
Yep. I need a regiment. Right. Two troops together.
We're leaning into. And the second edition, third edition was then about bringing everybody that'd come in with second, but they'd come in during second with their armies into, look, this is our IP a bit more. These are the armies that we're doing. We were taking control back of Northern Alliance, Night Stalkers, and then halflings. No one ever done plastic halflings, so let's do a proper. But they're not chefs. We're not having a chef army. We're doing vicious, nasty little halflings that fight in a certain style in a certain way. And there was lots of backfilling because what we were doing originally was like, hey, you've got this army. Here's your stats for it. And we didn't have the models for it. So, whereas now I think we're coming to fourth with our own crowd that wants us to lean more into the story Panathor. A lot of the armies have core plastics already and good quality ones. We've just got better and better at that. And we can plan a little bit more thoroughly by saying, right, we've got 6 books coming, with 4 armies covered per book. And what it's going to be is just detail and background and how's the invasion affecting them and what's happening in their world. And yes, there'll be a deep dive in the Zikari in Bolt 1, but that's how we want it. That's what we all read for, right? That's what we want, an IP, we want pictures, we want stories. And the summer campaign is going to be all about the Zikari smashing up against existing races. So this is going to be good fun. And we're able to come at it with a certain pile of plastics, and I think if it's got a champion set right now, it's got at least 3 plastic sets, plastic kits to go. Because I think the same one is squeezed out 3 times now. Here's your champ, they're going to be in fourth.
I'm very much looking forward to that, because I think the champions models are fantastic, and that was something that really drew me in. Was like, it's a little warband with a character, with a named character, and I think that was what hooked me. It was like, you've got that, like, this is accessible from a hobby point of view. You get your rank and flank itch, and there is a hero there with a character and a story behind it, which was absolutely cunning. And I think the biggest thing about the fourth and it is the way you we've got a rules refresh, which I think is fantastic given, the journey that second and third absolutely took. And I think you there sort of talking about how your core IP is now leading it. If you look at all the books that are out there, like I'm on my 4th Mark Barber book in 4 weeks. Right.
Oh yeah, and I like Mark Barber. He's a good writer, isn't he?
Outrageously good. Pius got me, and then I fell down a little rabbit hole. I'm absolutely loving that. Yeah. But the world that is built there, it's really interesting because the way you're talking about it, like you've built this game to play a game, and then you expand the game to play with all the stuff people want to play with, and then you turn it into yours, and you can see it in the lore, and that's kind of like you go into it being like, oh yeah, fantasy, yeah, got dwarves, of course we've got dwarves, yeah, we've got some elves, yeah, no one likes elves, fine, goblins, wicked, and then you're like, okay, who are the Basilians, and where's the Abyss stuff coming from, and like I've loved falling into it. Because it's darker than you originally think, which I loved. Like, everything these days has got to be kind of either mega dark or mega clean, and you've got this, and at the first thing you look at it, you're like, oh, cool, fantasy, and then there's some real cool stuff there. Then you've got the Night Stalkers, and just the way the undead work in the lore, like the story's been building, and then you bring out this outside force that's inside the world, so it's not just like, and now we've got more demons. It is like, right, we've got this force coming in. So just tell me why you brought in both a new army and a new edition at the same time, and is it really because I think your company is such a narrative-first company, and I think that's what makes you stand out, and I think that's your nugget there.
Well, okay. Well, I'll take that and we'll run with it. So, yeah, I always, everything starts for me. So when we're even writing rules, and let's say it the same way, I go, what would happen?
Yeah.
An easy way, when you play Halo, right, I've got a figure here. He's 3 blocks away from you. I can see a tiny bit of you. I can shoot at you. Well, is he in cover? Is he not in cover? Well, he's not going to stand still. He's a running around Spartan, ducking behind cover and everything else. I've seen a bit of movement, because I can see a bit of it. I'm going to start firing, throwing grenades, pumping fire into the area that I know he is. So we built a rule set that you start with 3 dice. If I'm higher than you, I can probably get a slightly better shot, right? If you run into and kill one of my mates, and you're busy stabbing away at him, and you've just finished him off, so now he's on the floor, you're busy again, goes there, and I walk round the corner, and I see my mate on the floor dead, and you standing over, giving him a good old jabby, and I've got a very big machine gun, and I can see all of your figure and all of your base. In other words, I've manoeuvred myself into a tactically strong place. I get 2 extra dice. Because now what we're doing is doing 2 things. Is removing the argument. Can I see all the figure and all of his base? Yes. Figure's higher than me. Can't see all of his base. So you can never be, because actually they're skilting down. They're over the top. They're firing those. But I come round. I've caught you bang to rights. Sorry, buddy, this is going to hurt. I'm going to hose you down. I've caught you.
Yeah.
So you both get rules that feels right with what's happening in the way that a movie game plays in my mind, which is I'm running around, you're running around, there's grenades going off, we run it. And so when we're doing Kings of War, it's that same thing. If you think of, I'm fighting you, okay? We're engaged in the front. I'm pushing against you, I'm shoving you, I'm whacking you, my shields are bashing against you. Think of Viking shield walls, here's where we are. My mate's standing behind me, and he's going to wallop you, and the guys are alongside. And all of a sudden, the guys behind me start going, I'm not fighting you. I'm not fighting with you, Ron. I'm fighting these guys in front because someone just hit us in the right-hand flank. The commander's going to go, get over there, get over there, get over there. I'm going to start going, oh, shit. I'm having trouble here. And wars and battles weren't won and lost because everybody died.
Yes.
They were won and lost when everyone went,
nope.
Out of here, I'm out. I'm gone. You can shout as much as you want, but one of these 2 guys are going to stab me if I don't run right now.
Yeah.
Hence, nerve in Kings of War is about when you break. It's when you stop functioning as a unit. And so what we've done, well, let's say we've done, or we've done these rules over time, is captured all of the essence of shooting, the softening you up. Then a unit hits you in the front and engages you, and a cavalry unit comes sweeping around the side, smashes your line. And now, by the way, I've broken your line. I'm going to hit this unit, this unit, this unit, this unit. And unless you tactically can respond, which is what we want the game to be, it's about the decisions you make on the battlefield. I say, if the game's won and lost when you finish your army list, it's not a game I want to play.
Not a game. It's just not a game. Yeah.
Well, it's a different game. It's a different game. I want a game where I turn up, this one might be tough. But I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to try and do that, I'm going to do that. Look for a little bit of luck in the dice. Just and see one moment where you go, well, that might just swing you back in my favour. Or I know that if I can get that on them, that's going to hurt. They're expensive. Okay, how do I get to make him do what I want him to do? How do I get my army to do what I want him to do? And then, just to add fun to it all, we screw you up with dice because that makes it far more fun.
And occasionally, your command dice, right?
But, yeah, exactly. I don't know what the command dice you speak of.
I saw them on a funny video that you put out. That's all,
I think we cracked it. I think we had it nailed. I know what Alexia was jabbing that. So it's always imagination, both from an IP point of view, and I wanted to make the world big enough, because I think you go back to your question, that you're the king, but it's a bit like the Holy Roman Empire in the 16th century. I'm a dwarf here with this hold, but down there there's goblin threats coming all the time. There's elves living in those woods over there. There's some kings and men down there, and there's a Basilean fort. So whoever I want to fight with today, I've got someone I can go and have a good scrap with. Yeah, the big main Basilean base is over here. There are lots of elves live over there, but everywhere there's everybody mingling around with strongholds and areas. So people come to me and say, "Oh no, the elves live here." I said, "No, that's where their capital is. The elves live everywhere. The trees, there might be some of them in them, or if there's little areas, they'll try and do them." So if they're going to launch a invasion, it's got to come from where their stronghold is. But in terms of what's going on, there's always a reason for a scrap.
Always a reason for a scrap, which works really nicely with the Zikari Empire coming in, especially with the way you've deployed them around the world. I guess I do have a question though. Is it's great having a bad guy, but are we going to see factions work in tandem with them? Are we going to see factions go, do you know what, guys, you are right, wizards are a bit overpowered, maybe we need to kill them all? Are they going to join up with the Zikari? Is that what we're going to see?
Yeah, I think it's so the Zikari is this: we're coming to take magic off you because you lot can't be trusted with it.
Often,
and it was the Halpi's Rift. Yeah, the Halpi's Rift tearing apart. That was such a big release of magic. They went, oh, for God's sake, we let them play with it, and look what they've gone and done. If you think of a triangle, there's kind of three sides on the triangle. There's evil, there's good, and there's nature.
Yep.
And you could be, if you raise things from the dead, that's kind of nature in terms of you're using the power of magic and things to raise up undead. The reason undead are always evil is because the person that does it is a psychopath.
It seems.
Or necromancers are kind of slightly wild hares and go, now the world will be mine. And so they're evil, they're using nature power. So they're on the nature evil axis, very close to the evil, but their power's coming from nature. If you put someone on the good faction that says, I want to build a pyramid, great, let's raise all the dead. They can build a pyramid, and then when we're finished, we'll just put them back again where we found them. Okay. Maybe neutral, maybe good, but certainly not harmful, is it? Certainly not evil. So you start getting to play. When the Basileans are fighting Abyss, they will do almost anything to beat the Abyss.
Yep.
So if they see a big river and think, I'm just going to dump that river into the Abyss and this will drown millions of them, they'll go, that's great. Nature will go, excuse me, do I get a vote? I'm not so keen. That's my river, that's nature, that's harmony, and you're dicking with it right now.
Yeah, but the Basileans are the chosen ones, it's fine.
Yeah, exactly. They'll just have sorted out. So at the moment, the baddies kind of are slightly in the ascendancy. If you go and look at the picture of the Abyss on book 1, or book 2 it was, I think, it's quite small. You jump forward 10 years, it's quite big. The Abyss has got bigger and it's broken out over here. We've also opened some massive void rifts where Twilight Kin and Night Stalkers are piling into the world.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so, the baddies are not doing pretty well at the moment. And then you've got goblins that are kind of just merely evil, and the Riftforge orcs just killing for fun and everything else. So it's kind of slightly getting out. So you're probably seeing the dwarfs aren't having the best time of it because they're falling out a bit between the Free Dwarfs and the Imperial Dwarf. You'll find out why if you keep reading Mark Barber's books. And And so there needs to be a kind of a bit of a reset where the good guys get together. And what nature's seeing is with these rifts opening, the abyss opening, the dial is leaning slightly towards disharmony at the moment, and the people causing it are the baddies, not the goodies. So you're going to see a bit of an alliance between nature and the good armies and the noble races kind of pushing back against all the chaos and trying to bring it back into equilibrium.
Yep.
The baddie armies are going to be going, this is great, absolute chaos. Let's get our agenda driven forward, and we'll deal with the Zikari later. So rather than necessarily allying with the Zikari, you're just going to see them driving their agenda forward. So the abyss ain't stopping.
Yeah. Enemy is my friend, and taking that. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I was kind of thinking about this. I was like, okay, so you got the 4 armies in the first book. And I'm just thinking, it's the Zikari just picking on everybody. I was like, okay, how's that gonna? How are you gonna?
It's like there's a million of them coming. I think the number we're using is like, it's that, you know, in 300 when the Persians come round and they're going to go into Greece. It's that kind of vibe. You know, it is an army the likes of which has never been seen, and therefore putting it into 3 places and smashing all the way through. It's going straight to where the salamanders live, straight to where the halflings live, and all the way around to Twilight Kin, fighting Trident Realms, before they plough into the elves. So all of a sudden you've got this big narrative, and there's three things of the claws coming, because they're basically going all the way around to the far side and this side, and they just intend to just squeeze them all together and go, right, ours now. And interestingly, so I'll give you one story. It's a great story. They're a noble race, the Zikari. They're not coming here to be bad. They're coming here because you idiots can't be trusted. So they're slightly arrogant, slightly haughty, but they're not savage. They're not goblins. You know, they're not. They're coming. There's a great story where the dwarfs send out a raiding party, not a raiding party, a scout. Have you read this? Has this been in the IP?
Yeah. Okay. It was actually on the website. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I was saying to put that out because that really is. And then they get captured. They all get taken prisoner by the Zikari, who is also their scouts, and they have seen the dwarfs and seen there's like, there's a lot of them coming. This is a problem. We need to get back and raid. Tell the bosses, get captured. And they're setting them free one at a time, where they're allowed to pick one piece of equipment. So the dwarf captain's watching his rangers. These are tough dwarf rangers. They know what they're doing, and they're taking his arm. He's taking his sword. He's taking his this, that, and the other. He's thinking, look at those legs. I mean, they're going to be faster than me. I'm getting caught here. I'm not getting away from this. So decides, go light, go without the armor. I'm going to take my crossbow and some bolts, and I'm going to go. But as he's running away, he knows he's going to get caught. So actually sets a trap. Sets the trap. The Zikari comes running over. The ranger comes hunting him down. And actually gets it off. But straight away, the Zikari goes, this is a trap. I'm not falling for this. But in the pause, the dwarf goes, right, I've got you. Smacks into him. This might give me time to get away and everything else. Draws blood. The Zikari goes, all right, buddy.
Yeah.
You're free to go. What? You know, it's a test. If you can draw blood, you're free. Let's go.
Yeah.
And they send him on his way and stuff. And it's absolute noble race.
And I think that's what makes them such a good ad. And I think you have mentioned this on another show before, is like, you've not just introduced a race that no one wants to play. You've introduced a race that's kind of like a new enemy for old players, or a new challenge for old players. And, you know, you can look at them and go, yeah, I get it. Yeah, I get it. Like, this is cool. Like, this is a bad guy I can get behind. This is not, you know, a dubious 1940s army. This is like, okay, these guys, yeah, I'm happy to represent these guys because they've got a point.
Yeah, exactly that. And I think it's great fun. And it changes the game for everybody for the better. And when you get a new edition, which is the time when you get, we're going to go through a stage. And I think this is the best year of any edition, is the first year, because you've got slightly jaded by year 5, year 6 of the old edition.
Yeah.
In my gaming club, I've played your army. Even if you've got 3 armies, I've played them all 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
I've been to tournaments and I've still bumped into the same armies. And the joy of a tournament is, you know, at the moment you've got 200 coming to Kings of War every September with Steve, and you've got, so you're going to get 6 games. So you're going to play 6 out of 200 people. So, and they're going to be French, Polish. See, they're going to play it slightly differently, but essentially you're going to play different players. It's going to be a fun event, but your 20-man tournament dotted around the UK, you're going to be seeing 10 of the same faces, you know. And so you'd have played those guys and their armies, and you won't have seen anyone do anything particularly new to you. You're going to get the new book. You know, shooting's changed. This has changed. Your heroes have changed. They're on 40mm bases. They're playing a more of a kind of aura effect vibe now. So these suddenly people are going to be going, oh, I could do this with that, and I can do that with this. Now, we'll have thought of some of them, and some will come out and play testing. Some of them we won't.
Oh, yeah. Well, gamers
and some will do something absolutely crucify somebody. And then everyone will go, right, that's the army. The Zikari, it's the best army. It actually destroys everybody. Oh, it's ridiculous. The whole thing. And then someone will go, yeah, but you just do this and this and this to them, right? Oh, yeah, I hadn't thought about that. Right, okay. And what's happening is even when you play your guys at the club, you're learning the game a bit, which is good fun. That's why we do it. We like the puzzle of learning.
Puzzle, yeah,
you're doing it a bit. He's doing it a bit. You'll do something. He goes, I'm not seeing that. That's quite cool. He'll do something. You'll go, oh, that's quite cool. And slowly you it's still Kings of War, but it's slightly different, which is an evolution. It's not a revolution, it's an evolution.
Yeah.
But it re-engages your interest. It takes away that slight ennui that you've got fighting the same dwarf army for the 15th time. And, you know, you've done that maneuver to me. So I think it's great fun. Then you add a new army in there, which changes the meta. We've changed one or two big things like the shooting, which is now soften them up and pepper them rather than then you're still going to hit them. You've got to think about that. But it's still part. And you start going, right, we're going to see some really fun games and it's going to swing. I'm going to go, okay, we'll keep playing for a bit. And then it's going to swing the other way. But we're going to go, and swing.
Yeah.
And maybe a year from now, we'll be going, okay, you know, straight away, there's your clarity. If we've written it, that it needs a bit of an errata, we'll come out with that. So, no, we meant this. But actually, that's the joy of Alessio. He's done that. We've had playtest days here. People have been, what does that mean? What does this mean? So that's in pretty good shape. But there will be a few balancing issues, but just put them on the app and away they go.
That's the key for me, is the fact that it's going to be on the app straight away, which is so useful. So I signed up for Armada because we did a thing at club for Armada, and I signed up to the app and I just went all in and I had access to everything else. And then we went too deep into Epic Warpath, by the way. Nice job on that.
Thank you,
and just the fact that it's all there makes it, again, very accessible. So old players, new armies, new challenges, absolutely brilliant. But there's a couple of things I feel like you guys are doing which are really expanding your player base. So having the new edition resets the rules, resets the playing field for everybody, which is great. Having a new faction.
Stepping on point.
Yeah, exactly.
Because actually we had a serious group of super hardcore players, loved the game, but boy, oh boy, you went anywhere near them and they're going to take your arm off, your leg off. It's been like that scrap in Holy Grail. You come back, I'll bite you to death because they're just... and you're dead. Yeah, go away.
Can't play football for us. We play for the national team. Yeah, exactly. But the other thing I think you're doing really cool is STL stuff. Now, what we're doing on the channel is we've gone deep and got a couple of big old boxes of Trident Realm, because that's going to be our plastic and resin army. But we've been printing off some of the salamanders that are already in the vault. But you've talked about the fact that salamanders are going to get a big old chunky STL release. So you've got me by the wallet and you've got me by the resin. Can you tell us some more about your plans with STLs, with salamanders, the vault, and everything moving forward?
If we don't recruit, we die. Simple as that.
Yep.
And recruiting globally, which I'll come back to, in a way that people want to play is very, very difficult, because you could go out and you go, here's a Kickstarter and I've got a whole lot of people, and you all jump at the same point. You all give quite a lot of money. And then you go out into the world, but the retail stores don't want you to play in their stores because you haven't spent any money with them.
Yep.
Fair enough. So once we decided that Kings of War was going to be a retail-led product, I then had to say, okay, how can we recruit? One of them, new edition, new armies, tournament play, summer campaigns. But the longer we go along that route, the harder it is for people to jump on, because everyone's getting more and more seasoned in year 2 and year 3.
Yeah.
The veteran season will be pretty good. Now, I think the game is good enough. You can turn up to a tournament. You probably won't win it, but you might win a game or two, and you're certainly going to have some fun.
You can play. You get to play the game, which is...
Yeah, because there's nothing that's so OP that kills everything in the first turn. You can't. It's not that. But then I said, well, wait a second, there's a whole ton of people out here. So we've got a guy here called Clive Stone, and he loves our games, plays our games, but doesn't buy minis anymore. Because part of his hobby is printing the minis. In fact, if I offered him, here's a plastic sprue or a print, I would pick the plastic sprue, he would pick the print.
Yeah.
For me, it's my idea of hell, sitting down and doing in front of a computer. I mean, 20 minutes a day is as much as I can muster. So going home and setting a pad going and setting this going, he loves it.
Yeah.
You know, before he goes home at night, we've got 12 printers here. I'm just going to just a little, when I come in tomorrow, there's soldiers, yay. And it's in. I said, okay, come join us. Come and play Kings of War. Come and play Armada. And when we first set the vault up, I said to the guys, we're not putting tatty old shit on the vault.
Yeah.
We either give them something that's world class that we're super proud of, or we're not doing it.
Yeah.
I said, because you get £4 a month is not a money, but what are you getting? And then we put first up the last game we released, which was Armada.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, people were coming to me saying, look, we'd looked at Armada, we hadn't quite jumped in, but I've got an all-in companion. It was £4 a month.
Exactly.
Now me and my son were playing every 2 weeks. He said, we got a new fleet, we play it, we print it off. It's a lovely painting experience, painting the ships, because they're just different than 28mm figures.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I got in on Retail Armada, and then it landed on the Vault, which allowed me to print a few extra fleets, which got my whole club playing it. Like, yeah. I was able to do that and pick up those extra fleets for, you know, an amount that was worth a punt. And actually, it went down a treat, and it's led us all on the merry little road into very deep Mantic.
Yeah, exactly what happened with you is exactly what happened. Is people go, I love this game. I can now get other people to love this game.
Yep.
And I'll print it because I enjoy printing it, and I'll get the fleet together. I'll do a few, my bit of hobby time, and I can take it down. And what we're trying to do is empower the people that love sharing our games with people, and in a way. And by the way, you know, now last year at Clash there was a guy from Argentina. This year there was 3 people from Chile. Imagine how hard it is for them to get, you know, a Kings of War army.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
Just shipping. We can't ship there because it gets nicked at customs. Doesn't get through. Someone just goes, "Oh, I can sell that. I just don't get arriving." He said, "Well, we can't. We sent you 3 copies. We can't send any more."
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And so I said, instead, buy a 3D printer, which you can get off your equivalent of Amazon. Have a subscription. There you go. You and your mates can play in Argentina now. You can play in Chile now. You can play in South Africa. So all these places that's difficult to ship to, and those people that are not playing with plastics anymore, well, great. There's quite a lot of them. Come and play Kings of War. Come and play Epic Warpath. We're running that campaign right now. Come and play Warpath. Come and play Armada. Come and play Dead Zone. Because we want people to come and try and live and experience our games. We think they're different. We think they're unique.
Yeah.
We think they are fun. And we want to, allow people to lean into that and have some fun with it.
So, salamanders. When I've got some of the stuff on the vault, I've printed them out, but yeah. I need some regiments of guys. Like, what's the plan?
So literally, I think they're buildings. I think they've been somewhat distracted. Epic was a project for us. It should have been out, shipped May, June. And between tariffs, you'd think, firstly, we were going to do 4 tools. We got a little carried away and ended up at 8. Yeah,
well, my vermin are on board with this, so that's okay.
Yeah, exactly. They were Army 4, 5, or 6. The 6 was and I knew this, and it was my own stupid fault. I assumed that smaller plastics would be easier to tool than bigger plastics. It's actually not true. It's the number of cavities in the mold.
Yeah.
And these are like 60 mold cavities. They're the most we've ever done. If you go and count the numbers of cavities on a Epic sprue and compare them to a normal sprue, just the sheer tooling, 8 tools, massive. Then we had to get them all supported, 3D printed. When we were going through the tooling process, we tweaked that up, we tweaked that down. There we are. Okay, well, which side do we remember? Okay, right. And so they've been building and just running a campaign. This is again of the part of come have a go at us. I think there's a whole load of grognards on the My Mini Factory 3D print world that want an 8-faction sci-fi Command and Conquer war game. We've made one. So, okay.
Well, I think that's what's so good. Like, you've been focusing on the accessibility, you know, Halo, Worms, Dungeon Saga, that kind of stuff that you can open and play. You've got the real game, right? Kings of War. You've got Champions that leads into it. But the fact is, you're like, right.
And it's a game in its own right.
Yes, it is.
When we did Ambush, it wasn't a game in its own right.
Yeah.
It only led to Kings of War. Whereas I think with Champions, you go, I just want to play this. This is my, you know, like you were saying about your Blood Bowl. Yeah. I just want to play. Take it out and play this. Yeah. And you go, the Champions are slightly OP because they give you a lot more character and flavour.
Yeah, which you need.
Which you need in a game that size. Yeah. You need to be able to put some more, those 4 pieces, but this piece is your queen. And that's going to really rotate your army around.
But the fact you went in so deep for a game that is a proper game. Like, I'm not saying the other games aren't proper, but like, this game could have come out in 95. In 2005, in 2015, or 2025, and you land this and you're like, oh, this is everything. This book is great. The lore is great. The list building is monumental. And the fact that, you know, when we went in, we got 4 of the factions, all of the STLs. We've picked up the new other factions that are out now as core STLs. So we've got access to all of the units. And the list building is insane. And it was really cool because I was diving into that. And then you showed off the Kings of War 4th. And I was like, I see that. Someone copied something.
So we did that.
Yeah.
You might be finding a way of doing these things. Well, thank you for your kind words. We appreciate that. And I've been saying for a while, if our recruiter products are Halo and our total commitment product is Warpath, between those 2 points is where Mantic lives.
Yep.
We dabble outside.
Yeah.
Now that's a war game. It's actually a war game because you're shooting each other on a board with things, but it's by far, you know, you're picking a card up. It's totally random. It's great fun. You know, if you're got a game to show off your total strategic brilliance, this is not it. But if you want a game for total chaos, welcome. But it's a war game, but it's a board game, war game, you know. But that's a miniature war game.
Yeah,
that
definitely.
Is a game. It's slowly introducing army building. It's got hobby in it. It's got everything in it. And it's just evolving into a nice, crunchy, but not too intense, not life-changing, not life-absorbing game where you can dip in and out. It's the game you play at the tournament weekend in the evenings.
Yep.
It's the as well as game.
Or you run a club night for it and you do the focus stuff, which is, I think, the best way to be.
And everyone can pay 4 figures. In fact, it's a joy.
Yeah, exactly.
And the Brutes, the ADST. I painted another club.
Right?
Correct.
I'm going to paint something different that's actually quite a limited thing. But when it comes to the STL stuff, I think is fantastic. Now, we're planning on doing it for the Salamanders for this release. Is that something you're considering to do for the other 5 books in the series?
We're considering at the moment. It was obviously Salamanders because we hadn't invested in plastics.
Yep.
It was a good army, but we've got some great sculpts for it. Most of it was resin. So once you've invested in plastics, you know, there's also a sense where a store will go, if you're selling in 3D print what I'm selling in plastic, why would anyone do it?
Yeah.
Now, I'm not sure that's where the world is right now. I think you're either I'm buying plastics or I'm 3D printing.
I think that's fair. Or you're an enabler like I am, and then you're like, I'll get one of each, and then I can trick other people into playing, which makes it accessible for me to do so, which accidentally means that I'm outreaching the games, right?
Yeah, and so you either do both, do one or do the other.
Yeah.
But there's not many people that are going to go, don't buy that from that shop, I'll print this for you. And if you don't have all of it, you kind of can't print any of it.
Yes.
And actually, what's the most affordable bit of any army? It's the plastics. We've made them in plastics. You're getting 10. You know, we tried printing some of our epic stuff in 3D print, and we realised it's a great little side project at home. It is not a mass manufacturing.
Printing 40 of the infantry is 48 of the infantry for a 6 squad is. I lost a couple.
Yeah, exactly that. You just go. 1 plastic sprue, 6 plastic sprue, just send those to me. I'm clipping them, I'm gluing them. They're ready for the weekend. So there's a little bit there. But we said, well, look, we want to really reach out to this group. Here's an army that we've not put the plastic in. We're not going to put the plastic in. We can't get to it. So it either goes to the 7th, you know, right to the end of the queue in book 6 or 7, or we lean into it and we just do them now.
Yeah. Yep.
And I think that's where we're at. I think if it works well and it acts as a good recruiter, we may well pick an army each book and say, now at some point we'll have to go, they are in plastic and they're now in the 3D print world.
Yeah.
Because I don't think we've got many others or any others that are like the Salamanders, where we just don't have any of it and it's a key army. But I think there's also, the Zikari. We're actually going to do something we're really excited. I'm really excited about. No one else seems too excited about it. You know how all dog owners really love their dogs?
Yes, I've heard about this and I love it.
Yeah. So because there's, we're going to just do a pack of, so they're going to be like the pincher kind of style heads, the hairy Alsatian and Dalmatian. And we're going to put dog heads and you can just go and get a pack. And I love that idea of taking the plastic and converting it and just adding something to it. Buy that, I'm going to make them all look like Fido and Rover.
The Vault add-on packs and things like that have been brilliant for that, I think, going along anyway. And I think the Vault's done a really good job of, here's a few whole units, but also here's some accessories, which kind of means that if you are buying core products, you're good to go. If it's like, oh, I like printing stuff, Mantic has a printing thing, cool, I've got some cool stuff from Mantic I can print off. So I think you do a really good job of kind of ticking both those boxes. Now, I do have two more questions for you, Ronnie. I know we're running out of time here, but I've got to ask. We've talked about Zikari. We've talked about Armada. I am a huge fan of Armada, and I've never lost the dream of being like, ooh, naval into ground combat, because I am that guy from the north, right? So are we going to see some more Armada stuff coming, maybe for the Zikari? Can I get my Brazilian sloops to destroy them?
Literally today we were talking about that because we're planning out next year, and we're like, well, obviously everyone's going to want a Zikari fleet.
Oh, yes.
And we're like, yeah, and this and this and this. And so we're just deciding how do we provide that in a way that, the one thing that I'm just madly conscious of is if you've bought Armada and we've made it for you in resin and you don't have a 3D printer and you're a hardcore fan, and we did it with the Undead fleet, but it was kind of at the tail end.
And Abyssals,
fleets, I think we've got to be able to say, here we are. And at the moment, Armada feels like it's not got no wind in its sails. Boom!
Very good.
So I think we've just got to think of it in a holistic way. Now, I think we're planning a big summer campaign next year.
Yes.
I think there's a city that's been attacked by the Abyss, defended by the Basilians, and the bloody Cardinals there. Yeah. Alanis is there. We're thinking of making that one of the 3 or 4 things. And it's like either Abyss wins and the city falls, or the Basileans hold and the Abyss gets pushed back. And I think during a summer campaign, when we're talking more narrative and more other things, we can drop other things within it that goes, hey, all you Armada fans, now you're looking at us, how about this?
Yeah.
So I'm not promising that. It genuinely is in the discussion stage, but we're talking about what can we do for Armada next year. We did the sci-fi stuff today, and that's going to be cool and fun. And we've also got a Halo release and our Kings of War releases. They're structured.
Yeah.
So I'm just making sure now there's a little bit of something for everybody.
Yeah.
There's some more epic stuff coming. What are we going to do for Armada, and how we're going to handle some of those?
No, absolutely love that. I could question you about Armada all day, but I do have a very big question for you, which is obviously on the channel we're linked. We like our tabletop sports game, and you guys did tease a cheeky bit of Dreadball Kickstarter coming at some point. I didn't know if you had any updates for us that we can share.
Well, yeah, that's a great question. Thank you for that. So Dreadball came out, one of our second Kickstarter, but boy, oh boy, it was a stomper, and it allowed us to take our teams from metal into plastic, and it was very successful. This was one of the games that I managed to break by just releasing more and more and more teams for it, and I did them on a second. There's one Kickstarter I regret, it was Dreadball Extreme, because Dreadball at that time was in rude health, and if we just put a book out with a couple more teams, that's all anyone needed.
Yeah.
And then we could have done Dreadball Extreme separately, and that was when I realised that we were addicted to the juicy crack cocaine that is Kickstarter.
Yeah.
And we should get off that. So And actually, for ages, we've been looking, and we looked at putting it on the Vault, Dreadball. How can we do something with it? And then Clive started getting excited about it, and we started talking about the MVP game, the All-Stars game, the game that's at the end of the season that they play in basketball. And we thought, you know what, that allows us to do something different and to lean into the kind of really fixed this guy plays this way, this one plays that way. It's not a dwarf team versus a goblin team versus a human team.
It's a character team.
Correct. And there's these guys and it's that. And that really got our juices flowing. Because we had a bit of the Halo money, we went and recruited some. I can't just say who yet, but I think it's pretty exciting.
Well, look, you've already had a SEO, so I'm sure.
Yeah, doing Epic and Kings of War.
Is it Dreadball All Stars or is it Mantic All Stars?
Yeah. So it's Dreadball All Stars. It's their version of the Saturday night end of season. You get all the OVPs and put them together. Now he's done a whole lot of background. We've started doing some legacy stuff for it. So you play the basic game, and then when you and your mates come together for a weekend, here's the tournament pack, play your 6 games, someone wins the cup, someone wins a card that they get to keep, and the pitch will change. And all of a sudden we've got this, because we've made so many games and I've broken so many games, I've started thinking, how can I make it so if we know that we all get bored after 4 games of a tournament and someone can't come, how do we go? Let's make it easy for an organizer such as yourself to say, right, you lot, in mind, this weekend we're going to have the trophy ceremony at this point.
Oh,
great, let's do it.
That sounds fantastic. I think
probably around February time. I think just get through Christmas, get Epic all sorted, get Kings of War launched, and then we can lean into that.
That is absolutely fantastic. Look, I don't want to take up. Well, I do kind of want to take up all your day, but I've had you for a good hour already, Ronnie. So massive thank you very much. Is there anything else you wanted to just mention before we wrap up? You've given us.
No, I think if you're a fan, ODST arrived today. We're shipping it out in the UK. The US has got it already. Kings of War, I think, will be in stores early December.
Yeah.
If you want to pre-order and do it. If you're new and you've not listened to anything Mantic, just go to our website. We have lots of free rules. The community's getting bigger. There's tournaments going on. Please reach out to us and we, welcome. Come on this journey with us. It's going to be fun.
Absolutely fantastic. Ronnie, thank you very much for joining us. Thanks very much for watching. It was wicked to catch up with Ronnie. I know the audio was a little bit squiffy. I do apologise. I've had audio issues recently. Hopefully it's better now, but it was wicked to catch up and talk through stuff. And it was really funny because I was talking to him and I was like, dude, I haven't covered 30% or more of what I wanted to ask. I was like, what's coming down the road for more Armada, more, STLs. So hopefully I was able to ask a bunch of questions that you also were kind of thinking, ooh, because this is one of those really great things where genuinely everything Ronnie said was proper exciting. Now, I think it's going to be a fantastic Christmas for gaming. It sounds like next year is going to be brilliant too from a Mantic point of view. I just can't wait for release date now. Let's have more models, more rules. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below, and we'll be back soon with more gaming content. Happy wargaming.